Welcome to a quick intro to my Godot 4 Kenshi clone based in medieval Europe. So currently I have character creator set up here. We can test it out. So this hard-coded scenario has 5 characters. Most of them you can't change the race or gender. This is similar to the various starts in Kenshi. This particular one is... So the theme of this game is essentially the Japanese reincarnation. And this one is a classroom getting pulled into another universe or fantasy universe. One of these characters, you can actually change the race and the gender. So we can go male, female for humans. And the race stats here change. They're not currently all written up. So elves, skeletons, there will eventually be more races and actual sub races. So for the humans, planning a Western race, an Eastern race, so I can have katanas as well in this game. Skeletons and the undead, some of them don't have genders. So the characters, you can change their hairs here, beards, hair color. Currently the face doesn't do anything, or the height. I'm looking into bone deformations, skin color change. So the way it works is there's a main character container here that spawns in the characters. So in the script right now, I've just hard coded the scenario. So the scenario here, the new character scenario, and since it's a school class being summoned, I have it set up so that all the characters are human currently, and you can't change their race or genders. And then there's another dictionary here for all of the races that are available for the character creator. This will probably remain in the character creator scene. However, the scenario or the current number of characters being modified will be pulled out into a global script. I just haven't set that up yet. So the way it works is it will go through the list of characters that you're looking to modify and then add them to the character container. And they'll add their clothes from the character list. If you change the race, it'll apply default clothing items. So the clothing items go under a node 3D within the model that's spawned, and then it updates the gender, the race, the name, the hair, basically all the UI information. And then it switches back to the first character here. This is kind of maybe a bit of a band-aid for an issue I was having where it would start off on the last character. And then I re-update that first character. So all of these are just very, very basic reusable functions. And then all the buttons essentially call those functions within them, changing the hair, changing the beard. It does a little bit of checking to make sure that you can actually change the index. So you can add beards without having to change the code. Basically, I just add them to the dictionaries here. That's why these are arrays. That way I can dynamically adjust the maximum number of beards available. And then that's also based on the race and gender here. So if you wanted the females to have beards, you could add beards here for them. I did it this way because the different gender models here, the different gendered models have different sizes. So the clothing items and the hair don't always line up correctly if you apply them on the different models. Obviously, objects that don't deform and are instead applied to a bone, those can be reused between models, but the hair, the clothing items are all individually made for each race or each gender. And then each of the hairs come in. So these are in Blender. They're actually they all have mesh data. They'll have their vertex data applied to them, and then in code you essentially apply them to the skeleton, give them a skin. So if I bring this in, you'd have to set in the skeleton here and apply it to whatever base model and the skin as well to get the vertex data. But all of that's done in code. And then for the UI, I currently only have one reusable component for the stat display, which loads into here. So based on the current stats of the race, so right here, the traits, and it uses the BB code. Yeah, BB code to color it. So based on the list, it'll add those into this area. And then this is just the generic race description. The character name actually works and updates the character. So if we load it up one more time, so I can change Jen to George. Horrible spelling of George. And it remains. So essentially this scene will get reused every time you add a character to your, or you add a character to your squad, or if you go to modify a character, and instead of passing in an array of 5, you can pass in a single character, multiple characters. It's all very dynamic. For instance, if we wanted to add another character to our starting scenario, we could just copy paste. Now there is a limit just based on the diameter of that circle. So it essentially will divide a circle by the number of characters, and then that's the rotational offset for them. But now that we've added character 6, the 7th one, yeah, 6th character, I guess. So I'm not really sure what the upper limit is, but it should be fine. None of the scenarios start with more than maybe about 6 characters anyway. At least not planned currently. That's about it for now. See you.